Welcome, dear friends. In this video, we'll explore Excel's powerful if functions. Whether you're new or reviewing, you'll be using them like a pro in no time. We'll start with the core, the if function, with simple examples. It checks a condition and returns one result if it's true, another if it's false. Here's how it works. First, the condition to check. Second, the value if true. Third, the value if false. Think of it as, if this is true, do this, otherwise do that. Easy and powerful. Let's start with a simple pass, failed check using the if function. We have student scores and want Excel to show who passed or failed. Here's how it works. If the score is 50 or more, it returns pass. Otherwise, it returns fail. A quick and easy way to make decisions in Excel. Now let's look at a more advanced example, assigning grades using a nested if function. We have a list of student scores, and we want Excel to assign letter grades based on their performance. To do this, we use multiple if functions inside each other, known as a nested if. This lets us check several conditions in one formula, moving through each one until the correct grade is assigned. Here's how it works. Excel checks the first condition. If it's true, it returns that result. If not, it moves to the next condition. This continues until it finds a match or reaches the final result. When using nested if, the order of your conditions is very important. Always arrange them from highest to lowest or lowest to highest, but never mix the order. For example, if you place the condition greater than 70 first, Excel will treat any score above 70, even 95, as true and stop there. This means a student who deserves an A could wrongly get a C. Now let's use if and together. We have employee sales and years of service. To get a bonus, sales must be over 5,000 and service must be at least 2 years. We use the and function inside if to check both at once. If both conditions are true, the result is yes. If not, it returns no. It's a simple way to apply multiple rules in one formula. All right, let's move on to our next task. Checking discount eligibility using the if and/or functions. Here we have a list of customers, their membership types, and how much they spent. Now, the rule is simple. A customer gets a discount if they are a premium member or if their purchase is over $200. So, we're using the or function inside the if function to test both conditions. If either condition is true, the result is yes, the customer gets a discount. If both are false, it returns no. This is a great example of how Excel helps you apply flexible rules, even when just one condition is enough. Now let's use the if function with text values. We have a list of orders with priority levels like normal, low, high, and urgent. Our goal is to flag only the ones marked urgent. The logic: if the priority is urgent, return yes. Otherwise, no. Excel checks each row and marks the urgent ones. Text matching is case-insensitive but needs the exact spelling. Quick and easy for text-based decisions. Now let's check how to use the if function for inventory alerts. We have product stock levels, minimum requirements, and info on whether an item is discontinued. Here's the logic. If a product is discontinued, we don't need an alert, just leave it blank. If it's active and the stock is below minimum, show reorder. Otherwise, show OK. This setup helps quickly identify which items need restocking without cluttering your sheet with unnecessary alerts. Smart and simple inventory control using if. Next up, the ifs function in Excel. Ifs checks multiple conditions and returns the value for the first one that's true. It's a cleaner and more readable alternative to multiple nested if statements. The value returned always corresponds to the first true condition, so the order of conditions is very important. You can use ifs to test up to 127 conditions, making it powerful and flexible. Let's look at an example and see it in action. Start with a basic task. In this one, we're using the ifs function to assign letter grades based on student scores. We have standard grading rules, like 90 and above is an A, 80 and above is a B, and so on. It's important to keep the order from highest to lowest or vice versa with appropriate logic. If we write greater than or equal to 70 before 90 or 80, then even scores like 95 would return a C, which would be incorrect. With if, we can handle all of this in a single formula. No need for multiple nested IFs. It's cleaner, easier to read, and checks conditions one by one until it finds the first true match. Also, for the final condition, instead of writing less than 50, we can just use true. This acts like a catch-all, meaning if none of the earlier conditions are met, the result will be fail. Simple, smart, and effective. In this task, we're using the IFS function with multiple criteria by combining it with the IFNA function. We have a list of employees, their department, and performance rating. Our goal is to assign bonuses based on both department and rating. Here are the rules. Sales with rating 4 or more gets $500. HR with 4 or more gets $300. IT with 3 or more gets $200. Everyone else gets $0. We use the IFNA function inside IFS to check both conditions together. IFS goes through the list in order and returns the bonus for the first match. The final true acts as a fallback, returning $0 if no conditions are met. It's a simple and clean way to apply multiple checks in one formula. In third task, we're using the IFS function to calculate tiered discounts based on the amount each customer spent. The rules are simple. If the purchase is $1,000 or more, the customer gets a 10% discount. If it's $500 or more, they get 5%. If it's $100 or more, they get 2%. Anything below that, they get 0%. We use ifs to check these conditions in order. As soon as one condition is met, Excel returns that discount. And we end with a final true to catch any purchases that don't meet the higher tiers, giving them 0%. This is a great way to apply step-by-step logic for tiered offers using just one formula. No nested if needed. Next function is IFNA. The IFNA function handles #n/a errors in Excel. It gives you a way to show custom values when errors occur. The function works like this. If your formula results in #n/a error, then return whatever value you specify. Otherwise, return the normal result. It has two arguments. First, the formula or value to check for #n/a. Second, what to display if error occurs. Important notes. Empty cells are treated as blank text. Works with array formulas too. This makes your spreadsheets cleaner and prevents error messages from breaking your work. Let's look at the IFNA function in sample tasks. First task, find and bring the price of products from the price table to the sales table. Our data setup is like this. Price table, reference contains valid products with their prices. Sales table includes some invalid product entries we need to handle. We'll use the VLOOKUP function as the first argument of the IFNA function. VLOOKUP will search for each product's price in the price table. If found, returns the correct price. If not found, returns our IFNA's second argument, not available. This keeps your data clean and professional looking. Let's explore another practical use of the IFNA function, this time with data validation dropdowns. Our task is automatically assign bonus amounts based on selected employee plans, handling blank entries gracefully. Data setup is plans table, reference contains valid plan tiers with their bonus amounts. Employee table includes some blank selections we need to handle. We'll use VLOOKUP as the first argument of IFNA to find the bonus amount for each selected plan. Return 0 if the plan cell is blank or invalid. Key benefit is it prevents #n/a errors when dropdowns aren't used, keeping your payroll calculations clean. Next function if error. We use the IFERROR function to handle errors in formulas. If error returns a specified value if a formula results in an error. Otherwise, it returns the formula's normal result. The IFERROR function requires two arguments. Value, the formula being checked for errors. Value _if_error, what to display if an error occurs. It catches these error types. In summary, returns custom result when errors happen. Returns normal result when no errors exist. Let's use IFERROR function in sample task. In first task, we'll use IFERROR for division with 0 handling. Data setup is product table, contains units sold and total profit figures. Some products have 0 units sold, which would cause errors. We'll use IFERROR wrapped around a division formula to calculate profit per unit, total profit / units sold. Return check sold if division by 0 occurs. It will output valid calculations, show correct profit per unit. check sold instead of errors. Key benefit is prevents errors when analyzing products with no sales, keeping your reports clean. Now let's use IFERROR with VLOOKUP for employee data validation. In this task, the formula will safely retrieve department info while handling invalid employee IDs. Data setup is master table. Reference contains valid employee IDs and departments. Lookup table includes some invalid/missing employee records. We'll use IFERROR wrapped around VLOOKUP to find departments for valid employee IDs. Return not found for invalid/missing IDs. How it works. Valid IDs show correct department. Invalid entries display not found instead of #n/a errors. Using conditional formatting, apply red color to not found cells for clarity. Key benefit. Maintains clean HR reports by replacing errors with clear messaging when employee data is missing. Next, we'll use IFERROR with complex pricing formulas. Our task is calculate final prices while handling invalid discount entries. Product table that contains prices and discount percentages. Some items have not applicable or invalid discount values. We'll use IFERROR wrapped around our price formula to calculate final price by multiplying price to 1 discount percent. Return check discount if the calculation fails. How it works. Valid discounts show correct final price. Invalid entries display check discount instead of errors. It prevents calculation errors in your price list when discount data is incomplete or invalid. That's it for now. In upcoming videos, we'll explore more advanced tasks using this function. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to support the channel. Thanks for watching.